What's up, comic and pop culture fans? This is James and Joker with Mint Hunter Comics, and we're going to be talking today about having to start over. Have you ever had to start over in this hobby? Have you sold everything you've got and started over from scratch? Reason I'm making this video is someone walked into my antique shop today with a particularly inspiring story, which I asked them, is it cool if I share it? So I'm going to go ahead and do so. First things first, I'm going to tell you from my own experience. I have on probably 4 different occasions sold off everything. This was pre-YouTube. The YouTube channel's been around for 3 years, and so this was kind of before. I have restarted several times. For the last 10 years of my life, since I graduated college, I've been extremely paycheck to paycheck. It's kind of how I thought the rest of my life would go. And to be fair, I'm doing this whole self-employment thing, and sometimes I wipe myself back out, but I do it to myself. It's different. The power is up to me. Well, for years, I was paycheck to paycheck, and there were many times where an expense would come up, medical, this or that, or whatever the heck, and there were some times in which I actually sold off everything I had. I know it happened in 2013. I know it happened in 2016. I know it happened in 2019, and there might have been one even else within all that. And each time I've had to completely sell off the collection, it sucks. It's devastating. There's usually a lot of buildup and emotional attachment that comes firsthand before you even make a decision like that. You guys know, you don't need to hear it from me. If you've had to do this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It sucks, and a lot of times it leaves you completely unwanting to be in the hobby at all. In my case, obviously, this is not a hobby I could ever leave behind. It is my life. It is my joy. I give everything I have to this. It's impossible for me to completely leave it behind, and I'm thankful for it. So the few times I've had to get rid of everything, I have done it, and you know what? I've built from the ground up. So I went to 50-cent bins and dollar bins and kind of reworked myself, pulled an old Jim Halpert from The Office and worked the trades all the way up, building a nice little collection for myself. Again, life comes up, restart. I feel like this is a very common collecting tidbit of life right here. And I want you to know that it doesn't matter the crazy books that you get rid of. You can actually restart. You can always restart. I know sometimes with 2020 and 21, it can seem crazy with prices, but you know what? Prices go up, prices go down. Currently, prices are down. You can restart. And I wanted to talk about a gentleman I met today at the antique shop who had some stories of some pretty crazy books. Now, the books that he had to get rid of when he went to college, ironically, was Hulk 1, Amazing Fantasy 15, Tales 39, you know, the works. First Iron Man, first Hulk, first Spidey. A lot of those, like 1961 through 1964, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby first appearances. A lot of those big ones. And a lot of those books are people's grails. I still have never owned even the rattiest copy ever of an AF-15. I know I will one day, but that has yet to happen. I did have a coverless copy of Hulk 1, if you remember that from the beginning of the year. So he was in the antique shop, and he was telling me about how those books were gone, and it's been several decades since he had to get rid of those books. This was a guy, maybe I'd peg him at like 60. Hopefully that's not offensive to him if he's watching this video. And he was telling me about how over the last 10 years, he's been slowly starting to build a collection back. Now, for a guy that had a Hulk 1, Amazing Fantasy 15, I didn't even mention Daredevil 1, and all those big books, pretty much anything big that you can think of in that pocket he had. For a guy with those books, I was shocked to hear that he was able to get them all back, and he actually thinks that the copies he has now are nicer than the ones that he had decades ago. So naturally being curious, I said, okay, well, what are you, like Wall Street? What are you, big spender here? What are we talking? He said one of the best compliments I think I've ever heard directed at my channel. He said, your channel has been a big help in understanding the ability to make this hobby fund itself. This is a guy that played the hobby right. He didn't go for silly speculation and things that are going to often land you on your ass. Rather, he built up with the small keys, cleaned and pressed, did that work, worked around with the middle keys, and eventually was able to get himself back in the big leagues with the big keys. That is still the path that I'm on, I feel, actually. I'm stuck in that like middle, but I do dabble in some of the big keys. Nothing ginormous, but I'm getting there. If you do this hobby long enough, you will learn how to make it fund itself, despite whatever the heck is going on in the market. And this guy did it. And it was really great to hear him talking about it. And it was just so inspiring, and it left me with such joy that I wanted to share it with you. And this hobby is loaded with good, quality, joyous moments just like that. There's a lot of work that goes into this hobby. There's memorization. You do need money. It's not like you can't have money for a hobby like this. But just like Hal Jordan, I just realized I got the wrong statue for this video. Just like Hal Jordan, it's all about the frickin' willpower. Can you make it happen? Can you manifest it, baby? And this guy truly did manifest it. He was talking about books I still have never owned, and I don't know when it's going to happen. You guys may or may not know one of my grails is a Hulk 1 in at least a 3. It needs to be well presentable from the front. And this guy really reminded me that yes, it can happen. It can absolutely happen. He had a hard reset, rude awakening 30-some years ago, and he's been able to make it happen in the last 5 to 10 years. What is your greatest success story? What is your biggest comeback, if you will? What's a book that you got rid of maybe many years ago that you frankly can't believe that you now have again? Let me know down in the comments below. Let's share some great stories, and I'll see you at the next video. Keep on hunting. Make sure to come down to Sentiment Depot Antiques and Collectibles, where I'm set up with all of my comics, located at 238 West Delaware Ave, Pennington, New Jersey. Open every day except for Monday and Tuesday. Enjoy 10% off from Wednesday to Friday. See you there.